friends, I must confess, I have been shying away from my light, and it almost made me leave my agency. So let's talk about it. And it's pretty ironic, I can't even lie, how we spend so much time trying to figure out how we can shine brighter and how we can show up fully as like our best self and all these things. But sometimes we unknowingly dim ourselves. And I realized that's what I did. That's what I was doing. I'd been feeling stagnant for a while, and because of my history already within the industry, I kind of got to a point where I just thought leaving the agency would be the solution. So I reached out and I asked to be released. For those who don't know my background, I've been modeling full-time for 4 years now. I was with another agency before who I had signed with during the pandemic. So coming into it, it was super, super slow. Nothing was moving, nothing was shaking. Nothing was really happening, but that was to be expected because the world had literally shut down. To keep it cute, I wasn't the happiest throughout that contract, so I wrote it out, left, and I signed with honestly, my dream agency last December. So I make a year in a month. And so I came into this super, super excited because I was like, new beginnings, things are gonna be so different. I'm in a new space, it's gonna be great, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And that just isn't what's happened since I've been signed with them. And I told them like my goals and the things that I wanted, things I needed to see happen once I signed with them. And I was like, okay, cool. I said my piece. I advocated for myself. Great. Things will, you know what I mean? Things will start moving. That's not what happened. And so if you've noticed on my channel, I haven't posted as much modeling content, not because I'm not working. I'm still working consistently, which I'm very, very grateful for, but because I feel like it's been repetitive and kind of redundant. And so I didn't feel like showing that stuff would still be interesting because I've been feeling stagnant. I didn't feel like I was showing anything new, so I felt like it would be boring, even though it's the reality of what my journey has been for the past year. Right, so it's not that I didn't want to keep showing modeling content. I would love to actually still do that. However, because it was feeling so redundant, to me, I didn't think that it was something that would be interesting to film and show to you guys. That's kind of how I was looking at it. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, if you still want to see that type of stuff, but that's kind of where I was at. So I had kind of reached a point over the last month that I was kind of like just tired of being in the same space, and like I just really needed a change. And to me, that change meant I need to leave my agency. That seemed like the only viable option because in the past, when I've gone to talk to agents and talk to, you know, the agency about my concerns and my issues, I was met with, I feel like, placating statements, dismissal of things I came in to speak about, claims that I wasn't grateful because I am a model that's working consistently, and that's not the case for every model, and I should be grateful for where I'm at and all these things. And I feel like that experience made me go into this situation more on the defensive because I'm so used to having my voice not be respected in this context, so I was expecting the same thing. And so I was like, to avoid all of that nonsense and avoid me getting upset because I'm speaking to you, you're not really hearing me or not caring what I have to say because I'm putting money in your pockets regardless, I was like, you know what, I just wanna, let's just wrap this up and I'll start new somewhere else. I was like, you know what, people start over all the time. Why not start over right now? So that's kind of where I was at. So I reached out to my agent, I reached out to the director, and I let them know I wanted to be released. And they were like, whoa, let's take a second here, Trish. And that alone, I was like, oh. And they were like, let's sit down. Let's have a talk. Let's chat it up. You know what I mean? Let's chop it up real quick, see what's going on. Cool. So the director asked me to come in, so I did. I went in, I spoke with him, and that conversation shifted something in my brain. To start, he was super open to hearing what I had to say. It was my first time meeting him in person. We correspond over emails often, but it was my first time meeting with him in person. And he was so kind, so open, so understanding of kind of like where my head was at. And we spoke about things in regards to my career. But a big thing that I took away from that was when he asked me, oh, you're not happy with X, Y, and Z. Have you spoken to your agent about it? And I was like, yeah, like, no, when I signed, I told them what I wanted, I told them what I needed, I told them what I didn't want a repeat of last year, da-da-da, cool. And he was like, no, I understand that when you signed with us, you told them what you wanted, that's amazing. But over the last 10, 11 months, were you going in? Were you checking with them? Were you reminding them? Asked me pretty much, have I been going in and advocating for myself? And I was like, well, no. And he was like, well, girl, how am I supposed to know that you're not happy if you're not coming to tell me? And I was like, I didn't think that I could. But to myself, I'm like, I didn't think you would care. Like, that's in my head, that's where I was at, because that's what I've dealt with in the past. And it made me think, why did one experience make me feel like my voice and my needs weren't worth being heard, weren't worth being held space for? And I realized that because of my past experience with my previous agency, I came into this kind of wanting to take a backseat and wanting to allow the agents to just do with me what they will, you know? And I think there is a time and a space for that, but at the same time, like, yes, they have their expertise as well, but my vision also matters. And so it really should be more of a collaborative effort between the two of us. And I didn't think that, honestly, that they would hold space for that. So the conversation with him really opened that up for me, made me realize, like, I'm complaining about all these things that are going wrong, but when did I come in and show them, like, hey, I'm here, I can do this, this, and this, like, I'm capable of this? Like, when did I show up for myself? I'm expecting them to do X, Y, and Z for me, and they should, but I also should be pushing for myself as well. Because at the end of the day, in this industry, I am my own business, so I should be pushing for me alongside them, not just sitting back and hoping that they'll do it, because hoping's not gonna get me anywhere. And so while I'm thinking about all of this, like on the way home, I'm thinking about all this, and I'm like, this isn't the first time or a situation where I've been comfortable just taking a back seat and just allowing other people to kind of like take charge and be the leader in situations, and kind of like allowing things to happen to me rather than taking the reins and taking the front seat in my own life. And I was like, why? What the hell is that? And I was thinking, like, have I always been like this as a child? And I realized, no, I was not. As a kid, I was very comfortable just being me and not questioning it and saying what's on my mind and just shining regardless of how I would be perceived. Like, I didn't really consider those things before I said or did things. And I can remember the exact moment that changed for me. I was in elementary school and we had a principal, a woman, and I was a part of like this school, like school safety. If you went to PS180, then you know what I'm talking about, but we had school safety. They're like school patrol for the students. But anyways, I remember I was assigned to do like something in the office, delegating something. I don't know what Latricia was delegating. She was delegating something. And I remember one of the ladies in the office, adults by the way, like told on me to the vice principal who was assigned to be a safety agent. And she said that was bossy and pretty much like I was doing too much, and that she labeled me as these things in a negative light, which in hindsight, I know that if it was a young boy who was doing these things and who was taking charge in the situation and making sure things were getting done, he wouldn't have been seen in a negative light. But I wasn't a young boy, I was a young girl. And so it was seen negatively. And in response to that, not only did I get in trouble, but I got my position taken away. And that changed how I move and operate in situations where I could take a leadership role or could take charge or could take the front seat in a situation, and I choose not to, because in that situation I was punished for it. So I think in my young brain, I began to believe that if I'm a leader or in charge, or if I have the nerve to tell someone to do something, that makes me a bad person, or that's wrong. And so I stopped doing it. And since I was like, what, second grade, I think? So since literally second grade on, I never took the front seat in situations. I was like, no, like, you can do it. No, it's cool. Like, I don't mind. You can do it. You can decide. It was very much that. Even though I had my opinions, even though I knew certain things would be better done another way, I just wasn't comfortable being the person to be in the front, even though I knew I was good at it, or even though I knew that the way I saw it would be a better way to go about it. You know what I mean? And what's crazy is that throughout my childhood, the one compliment that I got that was consistent, and I got many, but the one compliment that I got as a kid was that I brighten up every room that I walk into. I shine. I am literally a light. I bring that kind of energy. And I feel like that moment with that principal high-key snuffed it out and made me dim myself without even realizing it. And I was operating from that dimmed light, lesser space, or lesser version of myself, hoping that I wouldn't offend anyone by shining too brightly. And so I didn't. It's pretty clear how that's translated, I feel like, into my adulthood. And I've recognized this in therapy before. I've made strides in how I'm becoming more comfortable shining brightly, and I'm grateful to have people around me who encourage me to do that. But the impact that that's had still pokes its head in certain situations, and I feel like it has in this one, because I was comfortable taking the backseat in my career, in my life, for something that I am so passionate about and something that I genuinely know that I want to do and know that I'm good at and know that I can do. Out of fear of being seen as difficult or being seen as too much or being seen as like overzealous, I took a backseat when I shouldn't have. I dimmed myself, and especially in this industry, that's the last thing you should be doing if you want to make a name for yourself, actually. If you want to be seen, if you want people to push for you, like, that's the last thing you should be doing in a creative space. And so speaking to the director today and having him be like, girl, where you been at? It reminded me, like, I need to wake up and start acting like I know who I am and like I know where I am and I know what I can do, and stop being afraid or nervous to shine bright, because that's how the people who are meant to see me are going to see me. Like, I'm sitting here and it's like, shit really didn't make any sense. And I was texting V earlier and we were talking about it. She was like, yeah, girl. She's like, I be pouring into you because I be noticing you act like you don't know what you got going on over there, but like, you are more than capable. She's like, you could and should be doing 20 times what you've been doing so far. And it's not only on you, but your belief in yourself plays a big part in that, because it's that energy that they see and feel first. You need to wake that shit up. And I was like, yeah, I woke it up. Yeah, something clicked. I woke up. I was like, how can I continue to hide from what I know I'm capable of? How can I shy away from being the light when I know that's what I'm meant to be? So I sat with those feelings and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I need to be comfortable being in their faces. I need to be comfortable and confident in asking for the things that I know that I can do and asking for the opportunities that I know I want, because I deserve them, because I am capable of them, because I'm worthy of them. I have to remind myself of that and act on them. Like, it's one thing to know something, but the action needs to be behind it. You feel me? And I'm speaking to myself, but I'm speaking to you too. And so back to when I was talking about how I stopped sharing my modeling work on here, because mind you, I've been doing shoots, still been working, I've still been doing things, but because it's not where I feel like I should be, I stopped sharing it with you because I didn't feel like it was worth it. So I was saying I stopped sharing my modeling work because it felt redundant, but really it wasn't just that. It was me shying away from sharing my own journey, from speaking on where I'm at in my career and where I'm at on this path, because it's not exactly where I wanted to be yet. And so I deemed it unworthy, which is crazy, because every step of the journey is important. Every step of the journey is worthy of the same excitement and joy and love, because at the end of the day, I am doing what I wanted to do as a kid. I'm working full time as a model. So it's like, why not share this part too? Why should I feel unworthy of speaking on it just because I'm not at the peak of where I want to be? So the truth is, I don't need to be at the top to start embracing my journey. I'm allowed to show up right now as I am, where I am, proudly and confidently, because I'm doing what so many others aspire to do as well. People who haven't started yet are aspiring to be where I am. So I need to take that into account and have pride in where I'm at and be confident in where I'm at and know that I have places I want to go, but I've also come so far. So I need to honor that. I need to put some respect on that, honestly. And you know the craziest part about this? I literally have Be the Light tatted on me. I literally have it tatted on me. And I got that tattoo because I made this realization a while ago. I realized that that was a core part of who I was as a child. And I feel like our child selves are like some of our purest versions of ourselves. In that version of me, I was known as being that vibrant person. The one who would walk in the room and light it up. I was known for that. And yes, I still have that energy. Like, I'm not shitting on myself right now, but I got that tatted as a constant reminder to embody that energy, because that's the energy that I want to bring into the world. I want to light up everyone's lives just by being in it. And I know that I do that for the ones that I love, but I want to expand beyond just my personal relationships. Like, I want everyone to feel that just by me walking past them. You know what I mean? Like, that's the energy I need to be tapping into. It's just time for me, honestly, it's past time for me to bring that light back on a bigger and bolder scale. So it's enough with the trying to get ready. I'm ready now. I want to blind everyone with my light unapologetically. I'm going to take a front seat. I'm going to speak my truth, and I'm going to keep showing up even if it's hard. I'm going to keep shining even if it makes me uncomfortable, because that's where the growth is. Yes, so that was episode 4 of the Growth Chronicles. I really hope that resonated with someone. If you are someone who needed that reminder, take it, say enough is enough, and shine your light as bright as you can. Because that's the version that your younger self deserves. That's the version that the you now deserves to walk as, regardless of where you are in life. So tap into that. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.